Since the release of its first season back in January of this year, Fate The Winx Saga quickly became one of the most fantastical Netflix originals of the year so far, spending quite a few moments on the trending page, and with a cast of beautiful characters and a cliffhanger ending to rival all others, there's no doubt that the second season of the show is much anticipated. But what can fans really expect from this second season based on what they learned in the first? Well, whether you have unanswered questions or just want to know as much as possible about the previous installment of the Winx franchise, you've come to the right place, as we're about to explore everything that happened in the first season that should prepare us for the second. So strap yourselves in and get ready for our trip to Althea College. But before we get into it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any of the new videos we post. The origins of the Winx Saga. For those of you who were first introduced to your favorite characters earlier this year, you'll be surprised to hear that Fate The Winx Saga is actually based on a Nickelodeon animated series called Winx Club, which revolves around the lives of 6 fairies in the magical realm known as Magic's World. While there are quite a few differences between the live-action Netflix original and its source material, the overarching story remains the same, mostly taking place in Althea College. Speaking of the source material, it was created by Ingeno Straffi and released back in 2004, where it gained some steady popularity. So much so, in fact, that the show was pitched to be converted into a live-action series in 2011. This conversion was, however, placed on hold after the original developer, Brian Young, found himself snowed under with work. It wasn't until Netflix came along that this idea was then renewed, with Fate The Winx Saga being made into one of the most popular shows on the streaming platform this year. With the help of original creator Ingeno Straffi and Brian Young being brought on as the exclusive director of the franchise, there's no doubt that the Winx Saga is retaining the excitement and tone of Winx Club, which does wonders for the nostalgia of fans of the source material. And since those original fans are mostly teenagers at the moment, it just made sense to bring back the franchise as a teen drama, which is essentially what the Winx Saga is. So if you have yet to watch it, we implore you to pause the video, head over onto Netflix immediately, and when you're done, join in the discussion in the comment section down below. You don't want to miss out on this one. The release date of Season 2. As we mentioned earlier, Fate The Winx Saga was a complete hit with Netflix, and to the delight of many fans, it didn't take long for the streaming giant to renew it for a second season. The announcement of this renewal was made about a month after the release of its first season, which is incredible considering that it took Netflix longer to announce the renewal of Bridgerton, who some argue was a lot more popular than the Winx Saga. Fans are absolutely pumped, especially since the 6-episode runtime of the first season barely even scratched the surface of what is possible in the magical realm. When can we expect this second season to drop, however, is a different question altogether. While it might be true that the global health situation is very much on the mend, with the international rollout of vaccines being intensive, there's no doubt that the filming industry has been hit hard by the spread. Due to the safety rules and regulations that have been introduced on sets, delays are almost a certainty, which is why Netflix has stopped itself from announcing release dates before shows completely ready. Look at both Season 4 of Stranger Things and Season 2 of The Witcher as examples. Both franchises are incredibly popular, with fans calling on for more information from the streaming platform on a daily basis. But Netflix knows that releasing information like this in a time of uncertainty can only bring it with disappointment. But what we can do is look at how Netflix usually operates and guesstimate when can we expect the arrival of Season 2 to take place. We know that filming has now been greenlit by the streaming giant, so we can expect it to start in a few days' time. We also know that the usual plan of Netflix is to release a new season of a show on an annual basis. Research has shown that later releases tend to go down less favorably, as audiences tend to lose interest after longer waits. So if everything goes well, then we can probably expect to see Bloom and the rest of her friends returning to the screen in February of next year. That being said, the wait could be a bit longer, especially if the showrunner decides to bring fans more than the 6 episodes we got in the first season. And speaking on behalf of lovers of the Winx Saga, we would definitely wait an extra month or two to be able to sink our teeth into a longer season. So let's hope for the best and expect the worst, as we never truly know what's chopping when it comes to the release dates nowadays. Season 1 recap. Fans of the franchise will remember that Season 1 of the Winx Saga not only introduces us to the live-action characters we have come to love, but serve as a foundation of what is to come. In fact, some major plot points take place before its ending that are sure to become important in the seasons to come. Bloom, for example, who always wanted to know more about her birth parents, learns about the tale of Asterdale, a town which was wiped from the face of the realm by former head mistress Rosalind. After being manipulated into freeing Rosalind though, Bloom feels ashamed of her actions as she sees Rosalind take down the magical barrier that protects Alfea College, allowing it to be invaded by the Burned Ones. This results in the faculty and students coming together to defend their home. After realizing her full power and releasing her wings, Bloom heads out to help her friends against the Burned Ones, awakening the ancient power within herself known as the Dragon Flame. After defending the college to the best of their ability, the camera pans over to Rosalind once more, who, after meeting with Beatrix, Riven, and Dane, decides to bring them into her cause. This is, however, the end of her plans for now, with Rosalind's disappearance shortly thereafter finally bringing some much-needed peace to the fantasy realm of Magic's world. With things over, Bloom makes the decision to take her friends to Earth, where she informs her parents about the incredible power that she has. But in her absence, Rosalind returns after prophesying the terrible events that are yet to come. She murders headmistress Dowling in cold blood, assuming control over Alfea College, with the assistance of Queen Luna. We also discover that Silva has been arrested for the attempted murder of Sky's father, Andreas, who has been alive this whole time. In fact, it was he who apparently raised Beatrix in hiding. And in a shocking turn of events, the Winx return to find their world turned upside down. Rosalind's intentions. One of the unanswered questions of the season has to do with Rosalind's true intentions, as we have no idea why she's taking control over Alfea College. We have come to know her as a bit of a zealot, who will do just about anything to protect the school and the realm in general from danger. But if this was indeed the case, then why would she have lowered the barrier and allowed the Burned Ones to attack? Was this all a distraction so she could return at a later date and murder Dowling? Or was this all a ruse for something a little more sinister? Her claim that Astrodale was justifiably destroyed since it was inhabited by blood witches also seems a tad suspect, and has yet to be confirmed. In fact, if this was indeed the case, surely Rosalind would have had told both Dowling and Silva about their presence. And if these inhabitants were indeed blood witches, why would she have saved Beatrix, who is presumably a blood witch as well, if this ends up being true? Also, we have seen how her explanation of events tend to change based on who she is trying to manipulate. Both Bloom and Beatrix were told different stories after all. What is clear, however, is that Rosalind knows a lot more about the presence of the Burned Ones and their history than she is letting on. She also knows something about the importance of Astrodale, which is being kept from Bloom. For some reason, she needs Bloom to develop her powers immediately, and whether this is for Bloom to be useful in defending the realm against greater evil, or allowing Rosalind to use her power for her own nefarious purposes, there's no doubt that Rosalind is being painted as the antagonist. We have a feeling that Bloom's parents might have died in the attack against Astrodale, and if this is indeed the case, Rosalind was responsible for this act. No wonder she is keeping all hush about it. The true evil of the series. The coup at the end of the first season of the Winx Saga sets up a pretty clear storyline for season 2, with Bloom and the girls having to work undercover to rebel against the forces that be. Think of Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix, just with way more fairies. Also know that Rosalind has most likely teamed up with Beatrix, Riven, and Dale, so will likely be treated to quite a few intense moments where our girls are almost discovered by the student body agents. Why the college has been taken over by Rosalind, we have no idea. It could be as simple as her obtaining the power she needs over those beneath her at the college, making her plan a lot easier to enforce, or perhaps we can expect a hidden passageway beneath the school, only that the headmistress has access to. Either way, we know for sure that she's going to try and manipulate Bloom once more, while Andreas is likely to do the same with Sky. It could also be very well that Rosalind knows that the big bad of the show, Lord Darkar, is slowly but surely rising once more, and since his power is tied to the Great Dragon, just like those of Bloom, she is the only one who can defeat him. We have a feeling that this is likely why Rosalind wants her on her side, but honestly, she could even be working for Lord Darkar as far as we know. What do you think though? Feel free to let us know in the comment section down below.